Hi, I'm Jason Ritter. I do the voice of Dipper on Gravity Falls, and you're listening to the Boys Podcast. You're listening to the Boys Podcast.
I can't believe this.
It's okay.
I can't be anything without you. You were a freak!
He asked me out again and I didn't know how to say no.
Like this. No.
Sorry, I can't leave him hanging. Yes. You're dead to me, Seuss.
Got my favorite dress on. Mabel, this is stupid.
Compare this amazing likeness to Dipper.
That doesn't look anything
You're
like
right,
me.
it does look exactly like you.
I'm gonna get him to defend me from Robbie.
Isn't that kind of like cheating?
I guess so. Well, I'll see you after the fight. Nice! You rolled a 17!
And this is sad.
This would be a lot more fun with batteries.
Uncle Stan, it's not that we think you can't do it. It's just,
No, it's okay, Mabel. We don't think you can do it.
doesn't this seem like cheating?
Pacifica's rich, Mabel. She's cheating at life.
Just know that I'll always be right here on the negative $12 bill.
Whoa. This is worthless.
Is it getting hot out here, or is it just that guy?
It's the hottest day of the year, Mabel.
Not that lovable. Kaboom! Yes!
Okay, we agree on something here.
Better be something protective under this tunic. Oh, no, there isn't.
And welcome back to another episode of Boys Podcast. We have a very special guest today. He's an actor, voice actor, and producer. You may have seen him as Will Wallens in Freddy vs. Jason, Kevin Girardi and Joan of Arcadia, Sean Walker in The Event, Kevin Finn and Kevin Probably Saves the World, Eric in A Million Little Things, Pat Rollins in Raising Dion, and you may have heard his voice as Dipper in Gravity Falls and as Ritter in Frozen 2, and many more. So welcome the legend himself, Mr. Jason Ritter. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Joe.
It's an honor having you on, Jason. Like, you're guys, like, he's a legend. Oh my, he's done so many voice acting roles. It's crazy. So, wow. So, Jason, what have you been up to? How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing pretty good. Everything's been it's been a nice little period of time. A lot of family time, hanging out with my wife and daughter. It's lovely.
She's an actress too for folks at home.
She is, yes, Melanie Linsky. Yep.
Yes, she's done so many cool roles. 2.5 Men, Yellow Jackets. It's amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, she's amazing.
That's awesome. Now, Jason, what made you want to become an actor and voice actor? And who is your biggest inspiration for acting? I'm assuming his father is the legend, John Ritter. So I'm assuming your father.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. I mean, I definitely saw him doing it, and I saw how much fun that he was having, and and then I think another element was sort of that I'm kind of scared of and fascinated by people. Like, like I remember being sort of in middle school and just thinking like, how does anybody do anything? What are people? What are human beings? And each time I get to work on a role or read a script or, read a play or, whether I'm working on it or not, I just love these stories that help me understand the drives that we all have, or, why people are the way they are, or, it just was super interesting to me. So, and I also had a lot of fun doing it too. So.
Oh, and did you like, besides your father, anybody else you like looked up to, like idolized, inspiration wise?
I mean, there are definitely a lot of like actors and people whose performances I looked up to, but I think like the one of the most inspirational people in my life was Kurt Cobain, who was the lead singer of Nirvana. And when I was 12 and 13 and sort of trying to figure out how to be a little dude in the world, I wasn't finding a lot of role models that I was like, oh, that's it. That feels like right to me. I was like, oh, not this, and I mean, similarly with Kurt, there were also some elements that I was like, I know that he had a lot of demons and struggled with things. but at the core of who he was, I thought he was such a wonderful, brave, beautiful person. And I would read these interviews with him and I'd go, that sounds right to me. That I believe that I just thought he had such a lovely way of looking at the world and so much empathy. And yeah, so he was a big inspiration for me, not necessarily for acting, but just as a person and an artist and all that kind of stuff.
So like life in general, you know?
Yeah,
Life,
exactly.
like that. So if you like could go back in time, you'd want to meet him. If you could go back in time.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I would love to meet him. I also think I would have loved to meet him because no matter how much I try to like take him off of the pedestal or anything and try to see him as a human being, I still just sort of see him as this otherworldly person. So I feel like maybe meeting him, I'd be like, oh no, you're there. Those are your shoulders. That's your handshake. You know, it would help me humanize him a little bit because I put him so high up on that pedestal in terms of his inspiration to me.
Would it be like the Wayne's World moment if you man back?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Yeah, for sure. We suck. Absolutely, 100%.
That's funny.
And you'd probably get that reference because that was right around the time that he was at his height.
Yeah, that's true. I have though, Jason. You're very talented. Like you're like a dual threat. You do acting and voice acting. Like, wow, what more can you ask for?
Thanks. It was really exciting to get into voice acting sort of later. You know, I hadn't really considered it, but I'd always been such a huge animation fan. And my family, my dad would take me to like animation festivals and stuff like that. And so we'd see these little strange cartoons. And I just think the whole world of animation and all the different styles that it can take is such a fascinating, beautiful world. And I was like, no, now I can be part of it. It's so fun.
I mean, Gravity Falls is like one of the greatest shows, in my opinion, one of the greatest shows of all time. It's amazing.
Thank you. I feel so proud of that show and I feel so lucky to be part of it. I had no idea what I was getting into. I just was excited to be part of a cool, funny cartoon. And then when I started realizing how much mystery Alex Hirsch had put into it and all the puzzles, I went like ultimate Dipper mode. Just like what's everything? I need to know everything. I need to find all the secrets. I need to still all like look up Gravity Falls Wikipedia and be like, do I know everything? Have I seen everything? Okay, yeah, I think I have. Nothing new no one's discovered anything new. Yeah, it was so much fun, and it was such a fun community of people on those, message boards and things like that who would figure stuff out, before I did. So yeah, it felt like I was part of a fun Gravity Falls decoding community after each episode.
It's such a great cast too, like Alex Hirsch, Kristen Shaw, Linda Cardini, Thurop Van Orman. Such a the cast.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, all of those people that you just mentioned are absolute geniuses, and I think his performance as Little Gideon is just like one of my all-time favorite voice performances. That character is just so fun.
A lot of people always say like he like the way he looks, like the beard, looks almost like a biker dude. But then you hear his voice, like what? You know what I mean?
He has the sweetest. He just is, and he's such a wonderful human being too. But yeah, I know. Yeah, we got that big beard. Looks like he stepped off a pirate ship. But he's just one of the loveliest human beings out there.
What is your favorite acting role you portrayed and favorite voice acting role you portrayed? And can you do some of Dipper's voice? I know Dipper almost sounds like your voice, but
it basically is my voice. I mean, Dipper is it's my accent. It's just like up here instead of down here. But that was basically that's just a little bit higher. And I remember it because it was like my first voice role and I was very kind of raw and untrained. I remember earlier in the first season there would be times where they would say, "Oh, you just dipped a little bit below like dipper range, so you got to get back up there." And it was a new set of challenges for me, because usually if I'm doing something, you have the whole range of your voice to kind of do things, and now you're going, okay, so how do I sound sincere or something like that, but like way up here. So it was a fun and interesting new challenge. But I will say that that I've had so many fun voiceover roles, including one that's coming up that I'm super excited about, called Captain Fall. But so far, I think of the things that have come out, Gravity Falls just has such a place in my heart. It was my first voiceover love, and Alex and Kristen and Linda and Thurup and the whole gang were just so wonderful, and it was so exciting to have something that people were excited about and liked, and then the whole scavenger hunt at the other end of it was so exciting too, and it was so fun. There's just nothing like that. And then my favorite acting role, gosh, that's a hard one. I mean, it's both hard questions. I will say I had so much fun doing Kevin Probably Saves the World. I just had such a fun time it was another great group of people, and the writing was so fun and great, and I had a wonderful time with all those people. But I've also had fun on everything. I feel very lucky, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but that one was really fun.
If you don't mind, can you do like a little Dipper quote? If you remember any quotes, can you do some?
Let me see. The journals. Or I don't know. Let's see. Oh, well, there it is. Well, who wants a lammy? I do. So go up and greet your mammy. Hi there. So march around the daisy. Don't you forget about the baby.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you.
A little Mammy song.
Oh man, the childhood memories are coming here. Oh my god. Oh man. Wow. That's also I love about interviewing it feels so cool to interview people. Now when I watch Gravity Falls again, like when we watch it, it's a few weird. It's like, oh my god, it's Jason.
That's such a fun part about the world now, is like when I was a teenager and things like that, the idea of connecting to anybody that I enjoyed would be like, I guess I would you'd go to a concert and then like wait at the stage door or something, but there was or I could write a fan letter, but who ever knows. But now you can like tweet at people and they can respond, or it just feels like everybody is more interconnected in a really beautiful way. And yeah, it's really fun. It's cool. I think it's fun for everybody.
That made my month. That really made my month. Hell, can you walk me through the audition process? How did you land the role of Dipper? I'm curious.
So that I was working at a new place called DPN. They were amazing there. They're like specialized in voiceover agents, basically. And I think maybe at first I sent in some ideas on my phone, and I wonder if I still have those voice memos. Anyway, and then I went into a booth and I did it again, and it was a long process. Like, and there was one before. I think I had auditioned for Tron. I think that was one of my first ones, and I think maybe Elijah Wood got part or something like that. But and then Gravity Falls was just like, I think the next one that came in. I was like, oh, this is fun. Like the writing is so funny and it's sort of spooky and cool. And I, again, I had no idea how, how amazing it was. But yeah, I just sent it in, and then they liked my voice enough, and I came in and we recorded a pilot. And then actually, after we did the pilot, we sort of changed the Dipper voice a little bit, and you can still hear in the pilot, there's like a couple lines where I'm like, it's hard to, it's like a little nerdier or something like that. It's like, there I am. It's like a little more cartoony of a
Like
voice.
nasal. Is it like
yeah,
nasal?
like a little bit nasally, and it kind of goes back and forth. It's subtle, but you can sort of hear, like, when I watched the pilot episode, there's a couple lines where I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound exactly like how I picture Dippers sounding in my head. But I don't know if I'm the only one who ever hears that. But yeah, so we did the pilot, and then it was like another year of waiting, and then I found out it was going to go, and then for the next couple of years, every once in a while, I just go into a room and record with Alex, and then as the years went on, I would record and then be like, Alex, tell me everything. You know all the secrets. Tell me. And he knew how into the mystery I was, and he would give me little clues every once in a while. And in fact, he gave me like a huge clue that I never figured out. But in the Time Traveler's Pig, there's a shot where you see the old mystery shack, and who we now know is Ford, like, opens the door, but it looks like Stan, and you assume it's Uncle Stan. And he was like, in this frame is the biggest secret of Gravity Falls, like, up to this point. And I was looking at the painting in the background. I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, oh, wow, I recognized the glasses and the things like that, but I couldn't, I just didn't put it together that it could be a twin and any of that stuff. But he gave it to me. He handed it to me on a platter, and I just was not smart enough to figure it out.
See, that's what I like about Gravity Falls. It's a mystery. That's why I love mysteries.
Yeah, me too.
Like, honestly, wow. Now, this question is from Danielle, the one that drew the picture for you. She asked, I want to make sure, I asked her, do you have any questions for Dipper? Because she's right now at school. Favorite Gravity Falls character other than Dipper? Who's your favorite?
Oh boy. Oh, there's just so many great ones. But I mean, aside from Wendy, who I just think is so cool, maybe Lil Gideon. Maybe Lil Gideon is my favorite.
Oh.
But then there's also a part of me that just is like, am I just skipping over Mabel because she's just clearly the best and the most fun? Maybe it is Mabel. Mabel's my favorite Gravity Falls character. She's just so weird and so fun and such a love.
So Mabel,
yeah.
Because I want to make sure I asked like a question for her, because like she wanted to meet you in school.
Yeah. I am also partial to Pool Boy, the kid in the little pool jail. I want to know more about him, what he did. Is he alive? How's it going? How's his skin quality? He's not supposed to be in pool that long. I'm just nervous for him.
Would you be willing to come back and voice Dipper again?
100%. Absolutely. And I think Alex knows, like, I'm such a super fan of the show that if he ever, I mean, he even did, like, the last year, he was like, would you mind recording a full version of Disco Girl? And I was like, yes. So, he knows that I love the universe of Gravity Falls. I love that it continues to live on. And if he ever wants to do more Dipper stuff, I'm here. I still have my voice. I have my voice.
I wanted to come back. Legit, I miss it so much.
I miss it too. I mean, it was such a wonderful journey, and it ended so incredibly. But maybe at some point, the Gravity Falls ideas will percolate and in Alex's brain, and he'll decide there's a new journey to continue there. Maybe a movie or maybe another. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
That'd be cool.
It'd be so cool.
I mean, he's done so many cool characters. Bill Cipher, Uncle Stan, and the Seuss. Like, what? Like,
Bill Cipher's another one of my favorites, I think. Oh, just
like
so...
how can you do that? Like, he's a legend too. I'm sorry.
He's a legend, and he's like a genius as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I've never seen anybody work as hard as he did for Gravity Falls and fight for it to be what it was, and believe in it, and he just is incredible, and he's also just so funny and such a lovely human on top of it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, is there a certain type of role you would love to portray, like a Western, sci-fi, any certain type of role?
I would love to do a Western. My dad's dad was a singing cowboy in like the
Tex.
1930s. Yeah, Tex. Yeah, exactly. So to do a Western would be so cool. It'd feel like a little nod to that part of my history. And I never got to meet Tex because he passed away before I was born. But I would love to. And I also am super partial to sci-fi. I love sci-fi, and it would be really fun to do like some kind of space thing where you're in zero gravity. I know that it's like wires and stuff like that. I know you're not actually like floating around, but it would just be cool.
That'd be awesome. Like, I mean, the Ritter name's like such a legendary name. Your father, your dad. I mean, you ever said that? Your grandfather, your dad. Like what? Wow.
I know it is kind of bizarre to like think about that. And I remember being a kid and like seeing my grandpa, my dad, sort of like next to each other or like in pictures and things, and just going, oh wow, this is so intense. And for a little while it made me sort of scared to kind of follow in their footsteps, like but then I liked it too much to not give it a shot. And I also knew like that it would make me happy if I was able to do it in any capacity. Yeah, anyway.
Well, you're following good in their footsteps, in my opinion. You're doing really good.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep touch with co-stars and directors that you've worked with? Do you still keep touch?
Any favorite co-stars or directors, you said?
Do you still keep in touch with your co-stars and directors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing. Like, there are certain things where you feel like every project feels like a little family. So, but then the nature of the business is a job ends and you move on to sort of like a new family, and everybody does. And so you definitely keep in touch, but there's a sort of an interesting and painful period of time where you're like, oh, I guess we're not seeing each other. And it's not because nobody wants to, or like someone's ignoring texts or ignoring calls or anything. It's just like your life continues to sort of evolve and move forward. But there are definitely some projects, especially the ones that have gone for like years and years, where we've stayed in touch. And a lot of the people from the show Parenthood that I was a part of, we've been in touch. And then, like, the lovely and interesting thing about it is all of those bonds that you make with people are still there when you see them again. Like, when you get a chance, when you bump into them, it's like, it's so exciting and it's so fun, and you pick up right where you left off and you catch up, and you ask about what's been going on in their lives, and you tell them what's been going on in yours. And yeah, it's really nice. It's nice to sort of have a wide sort of network of people that you've shared experiences with, because no one knows what that was like except for those hundreds of people who all worked on whatever that show was, and you just share a bond in that way. Like people that you went to like a camp with, or you went to school with or something. It's like, even if you weren't their best friend or you knew them very well, you know, there's that feeling of like, oh, we went through that together. You remember? It was easy or it was hard or whatever it was, but we did it together.
That's awesome. Now, this might be tough. Who would you say is the coolest person that you have worked with?
The coolest person that I have ever worked with.
I think there's a certain person you should say your wife, because you did work with your wife technically, Melanie.
She is very cool. She is very cool. Yeah, I'll say Melanie is the coolest person I've ever worked with. She's and I mean that. I mean, she is cool. Like, you know, she doesn't wear like sunglasses and, you know, lean on things, but she's very cool and collected. Like she's a very calming presence on set. She knows what she wants to do. She knows what she fights for what she feels like, her instincts and things like that. And she's no pushover, but she's very kind and very lovely. And I've worked with her so many times, and it's always exciting to be around her and get to watch her do her magic.
So she's the 3 C's: calm, cool, and collected.
She is. She's all 3 C's. Yep.
Well, if Melanie can hear me, Melanie, you're a legend.
She is a legend. You are a legend. She's not here, but I'll tell her tonight.
If you were an actor or voice actor, what do you think you would have done as a career? I'm curious. What other interesting hobbies besides like reading, biking, hiking?
I do love hiking. That's such a hard thing to answer. I don't know what I mean. I
could see you as an acting teacher. I could see that.
Yeah, acting teacher. I think but I also think like some of the, I mean, I had such incredible teachers. I had so many incredible acting teachers who really, like, that's its own sort of passion, is growing young minds. Like you can love an art form or something like that and not have the passion to teach it. And maybe I would have that passion, because I do love it so much, and I do love seeing people succeed and, you know, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I certainly enjoy playing video games. I wonder if I could do, like, if I would be one of those, like, you know, watch my full walkthrough video of
I'd watch.
Yeah, I mean, I still think about doing something like that, sort of, so that I feel like I've spent hours in a way that I don't know, in case anybody's interested. Yeah, I don't know. I think well, actually, the only reason that I probably wouldn't do video games is I am passionate about people. I love people. I love us as animals, as the creatures that we are. So it would definitely have to be something with other people.
That's cool. I'm curious now, since you play video games, do you play on console, PC? What do you play? I'm curious. What do you play on?
I've never really played on PC. I've always been a console guy. I think, you know, Nintendo was my first console. That's the one that I remember playing Duck Hunt and Gyromite and Super Mario Brothers when it came out. And I've followed through consoles all the way now to, I mean, I don't have like the PS5 or anything like that yet, but maybe one day. But now I've been doing a lot of like virtual reality stuff, which has been really fun. And I've done, especially because we travel, and my sister lives in a different part of the state than my brother and I, my other two brothers and I. So I I made us all get virtual reality headsets, so now no matter where we are in the world, we can kind of hang out with each other online and hear each other's voices and talk to each other. That's nice.
Because I personally play PlayStation on PS4. I'm on PS5. That's so much money. So that's why I'm at. You know,
me too. And also, I still have like a bunch of stuff that I haven't played on my PS4. I'm happy. I'm totally fine. I'm like, how much better can graphics get? Like, these are great. I don't see the need to rush out and try to even find one or pay for that. Anyway, I'm totally happy. Maybe, yeah.
I highly recommend. Then, I don't know if you played it yet. Spider-Man, the PS4 game. Did you play that one yet?
I haven't played that one yet.
It's really good. My friend Yuri's in it. He plays Spider-Man in the game.
Oh, nice! Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I love video games too. Do you have a favorite video game of all time? I'm curious.
Yes, I do. It's Shadow of the Colossus is my favorite. But
Ooh.
Okay. the two that are like Ico, which that same guy Fumito Ueda did before Shadow of the Colossus, is another favorite, and his newest game, The Last Guardian, that took so many years to come out, but I think is such a beautiful game as well. I just love his stuff. And then I also really like sort of like some of the indie games. I really like Limbo and Inside. Like if there's like a side-scrolling kind of puzzly game with beautiful graphics, like those two, I'm super into it.
That's cool. That is, I see that. Now I see why my Twitter handle's GamerJosie26.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
That's why I love video games.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite? What do you think?
Ooh, favorite video game? That Spider-Man game's up there because it looks like it legit looks like a movie when you play it.
Gosh,
like
that's
the
awesome.
graphics are clean.
That's so cool.
It's hard to choose a favorite video game. It's like almost like how people say choose your favorite kid, but it's like
I know. There's so there's so many. I mean, I remember playing the original Legend of Zelda. I loved that game. But there's just so many. There's 30 something years of video games to choose from. How can you possibly make a decision?
Did you like the OG Smash Bros on this and then Nintendo 64 N64?
I never really. I mean, I definitely played Smash Bros, but I never really got into it. I think one of the things that I've noticed over the course of my video game life is that for some reason, like when we were all in middle school, we all played a lot of video games, and then a lot of my friends kind of stopped, and I've just kept on going. But video games, for the most part, has been like a largely solo experience for me. Like, I don't do a lot of online multiplayer games. I don't like a lot of the games I do are sort of puzzle solving and sort of scary games I like, or a combination of the two. Sometimes when I'm playing with other people, I'm like, wait, we don't go that way, go this way. You know, I'm like, I know the way I want to do it, and I think I would drive someone crazy, or I would be driven crazy by not getting to do exactly what I want to do. So when I have some time to myself, I do it my way and get through it.
You should do like if you ever stream, if you ever need help. 'Cause I actually used to stream before, like I used to stream video games. If you ever need help, send stuff up, like everything.
Cool. I'll hit you up if I ever get started doing that.
And I'll promote you too. I'll be like, hey guys, check out the legend himself, Jason.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Favorite? You kind of mentioned it earlier. Favorite band, artist, and type of music. I'm assuming Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana. That was definitely like there was something about his voice and his music that like hit me at the right time in my life, and then I've never really been able to like separate the art from the artist. Like that like if I have heard that someone's like a bad person, I can listen to like their song and I can go, I appreciate their musicianship, but I can't get out of my head like the way they've lived their life or something like that, or the people they've hurt, or is a big one. So it was amazing in that period of time to have this person that I would also like I said before, like read their interviews and go, yes, like I believe all of this, and I just thought, like, especially for a rock star at that time, the way that he talked about women in particular, like I had never really seen that before. There was like this cool thing, cool, quote unquote, like all these hair metal bands and like groupies and women, and it just was sort of all kind of gross to me. And then here was Kurt, who, was with Courtney, and they had a baby, and just the way he generally talked about, I mean, it doesn't sound that revolutionary now. It's like he talked about women as if they were people. but it wasn't happening a lot for, especially like in the music industry at the point that he came along. And so it was really nice to see. And yeah, huge influence. And I also just, the music was so awesome, and like I just loved it so much. It really spoke to me. But yeah, him and Connor Oberst of Bright Eyes, and Doug March of Built to Spill, and I also love the Pixies. But yeah, those are like my big four bands: Bright Eyes, Built to Spill, Nirvana, the Pixies, and I'm a big Beatles fan, but I inherited that from my parents.
Wow. Well, you said what did I say? I think I remember like seeing like a clip of Kurt Cobain on Instagram. Like, didn't he like say something like tickets, like why are they so high or something? The ticket prices.
Yeah. He just was always on the side of. I mean, it was interesting too, because he was genuinely uncomfortable with his success and his fame, in a way where like a lot of people that you saw at the time, and even still today, will get a certain amount of success and go, I told everybody, I'm like, here, finally, like this is how everybody, and they want to be treated a certain way. And he kind of was like, he just loved the music, he loved making music, and he all the time was, they would have to do these photo shoots for their band, and he would write other bands' names on his shoes, or he would like wear a other band's t-shirt so that his fans would go, oh, let me check them out. Or, I mean, that's how I learned about the Pixies and the Meat Puppets and Dinosaur Jr. and all sorts of bands. I learned from him taking his spotlight and putting it on other people and saying, like, I'm the one who made it, but look at all these incredibly talented people around. And I just, there was just a certain humility that I really responded to when it came to him. He wasn't super impressed by the idea of celebrity. It sort of came with the territory for him, but he wasn't like, now you must pay me exorbitant amounts of money to see me. He was like, no, we should pay. I saw that clip too. He's like $18 tops for a concert or something, which is amazing for like usually if people are like, would you like less money or more money? They're like, oh, more money, please. Thank you. And so the idea that he's like, no, I want people to be able to listen to my music. I don't want it to just be the richest people in any city who can come and see me. I want it to be, I want to spread the love and spread the music and all that stuff.
He was like grounded, humble.
He was, he really was. Or at least he appeared that way. I mean, and like I said, I know he had a lot of other demons and depression and addiction and all those kinds of things that, I just ache for him that he wasn't able to find a path through those things. But I just think the gifts that he gave the world were just so beautiful. And I mean, I really was like, I was obsessed with him. I had like scrapbooks. If I saw a thing of him in the newspaper, I'd clip it out and glue it somewhere. I was a little bit creepy about it.
So I heard you're making. I heard you're making a DeLorean. We're going back in time. We're gonna meet him. Does that make sense?
I definitely I would in a second. I absolutely would. I miss him. Like I think about things in the world, and I wonder what kind of songs he would write and how how his perspective on the world would have grown and changed. And anyway, not to just go on about Kurt Cobain so much, but he really was like a life preserver at a certain point in my life. I like hung on to who he was, and it helped me through some tough times.
So you're Kurt Cobain's #1 fan.
I mean, I'm definitely, I feel like I'm up there. I'm sure he has a lot of #1 fans, but I'm probably top 100.
Nice. Now, for favorite sports and favorite teams, do you have any sports and teams you like? I'm curious.
Yeah, I baseball is the main sport. There's the only one that I really played, and my dad grew up going to Dodgers games, and so he passed that on to us. And so going to a Dodgers game feels like it's a very like familiar and special thing for me. My brother Tyler and my dad could go back and forth with like stats and all this stuff, and they would see the whole like where this game was in a season, and I was more like, who's winning this game? Who are all these guys? I was sort of a more casual. I really enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the experience. I liked that you didn't have to just be like this the whole time. You wait for a pitch and then you can like talk and hang out, and you don't have to be like watching because you might miss something. When you're supposed to watch. But yeah, so I Los Angeles Dodgers and baseball.
Tyler, a fellow actor, another Ritter in the
another fellow actor, Ritter. Yep. Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a wonderful guy. I love him.
That's really cool. Now, favorite movies and TV shows that you haven't worked on, like just out of curiosity.
Yeah. Gosh, favorite movies and TV shows. I mean, growing up, I would say The Big Lebowski was one that really changed me. I just thought, I was like, you're allowed to do this in a movie? This is so cool. I just think the Coen brothers are amazing, and they just really build their own universes. And I also really love a movie. I think my favorite movie of all time is called The Knights of Cabiria. And it's
awesome.
it's a Fellini movie I saw in like a class in high school, and I was so moved by it. And it's one of those movies that, like, if someone said, do you want to watch it right now? You want to sit down and watch an hour and a half or whatever it is right now? I'd go, yep, absolutely. I'm ready to see it again. I just think it's such a beautiful movie and such a wonderful performance by the lead actor named actress Julieta Messina, and it's just, I just love the whole vibe of it. And then there's another movie that I think is very beautiful called The Celebration. That is a very painful, awful movie, but I just thought it was so brilliantly like acted and told that those are my big three faves.
I'm shocked. Well, technically, you were technically. This is what I read. You were in Three's Companies in the opening credits. Weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah, I come up and I pet a goat with Joyce DeWitt. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, that's.
Yes. I know it's bizarre to like see that and think that I was around for that, but it's such a sweet moment, and yeah, it's a fun little piece of history.
Yeah, it was a long classic show. Three's Company.
It absolutely was.
Your dad, amazing actor on there. Sorry.
Thank you very much. He was. It's fun to go back and see episodes that are still airing, and just, I mean, it's also bizarre to like look at them and go, oh my gosh, I'm older now than he was then. And it's just strange. It's just strange to like see this like period of time that's just encapsulated that, the late 70s, early 80s of, my dad before I was born, and then like the couple of years after I was born, and he's just so funny, and everybody's so funny and lovely, and it's a really fun show.
Time flies.
Time flies. It really does.
What is your favorite food? I'm curious. What's your favorite food? Yeah.
I could eat pizza every day of all the time. I always want pizza. I don't know why. I think maybe the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a part of that. I thought it was like a cool teenager food. And then I just love it. I just like, there's something about the flavor combination of tomato sauce and cheese and bread that I love. And then you sprinkle a whole bunch of toppings on top. And
That's good.
I can eat a whole pizza at any point.
Well, next time you come to Chicago, I don't know if you had Chicago pizza, but
I've had some. There's a place. So my dad, my fake dad, my TV dad, on a show called Joan of Arcadia that you mentioned earlier. Joe Mantegna is a huge Chicago guy. He loves Chicago, and he actually, he and his wife opened a place called Taste Chicago in Los Angeles, and it was like authentic Chicago, like deep dish, amazing pizza. And that was my first introduction, was Taste Chicago in Burbank, California. But
well,
it was amazing.
Next time you come out here, gotcha.
There you go. All right, deal.
Perfect. Now, are there any projects you have in the works? Anything come up in the works?
This show called Matlock is coming out. It just got picked up like a couple days ago, and so I don't know when we'll start shooting that again or when it'll start airing, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's such a Melanie and I just watched we got a link to the full pilot, and it's so exciting and so fun. I'm so excited for people to see it. It's like very moving but very funny, and Kathy Bates is just she's just Kathy Bates. She's a genius. She's amazing, and what she does with this character and this role is just magic. So I'm excited about that. And then also this cartoon called Captain Fall Guy. They go back and forth. I'm not sure which is the final thing now, but it's like kind of like an adult animation show on Netflix that I'm really excited about. I just, the writing made me laugh so hard, and yeah, so I'm excited about that too.
Based on the trailer I saw a couple days ago for Matlock, it looked really funny based on the way I saw it.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun, and then there's like a whole kind of interesting. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but there's some cool things in there that you kind of don't see coming in a really nice way.
I mean, it sounds stupid. Is she related to the original Matlock, her character? I mean, Andy Griffin.
In the show, you see, like, because it's not a reboot of the show. Like, the show Matlock exists in our show. So like, she says when she first comes in that because her last name is Matlock, during the late 80s, early 90s, everyone was going, "Oh, Matlock, you're a lawyer like Matlock." And she's saying, "No, he's a lawyer like me. He's not even a real lawyer. He's just pretending. I'm the real deal." So that's sort of what the connection is that her name is Matlock. In that period of time that the show was airing, everyone would say, "Oh, you're a lawyer."
Like a crazy coincidence type of thing.
A crazy coincidence type of thing. But no relation. But again, there's more to meets the eye about that whole thing too.
So if that's a stupid question, I was just curious. Like, my memory.
No, it's not at all a stupid question. No one's seen it yet, so no one knows. You know, I mean, I've seen it, so I know.
And Melanie's seen it.
And Melanie's seen it, so she knows. But no, they do a really nice thing, a nice way of like sort of connecting it back to the old show, but not in a way where, you know, like, oh, this actor is supposed to be this character and this actor is supposed to be this character. There's like the sort of heart of the show is similar in that people didn't really take Andy Griffith seriously. They're like, oh, he's sort of bumbling. He's nice, he's sweet, but he was always smarter than everybody else. He just kind of did it in a very unassuming way, so people underestimated him all the time. That part of the original Matlock is in this, where, you know, Kathy Bates's character is understands how she'll be underestimated and uses that to her advantage, and it's so fun to watch.
when it comes out too, I'll be sure. I like to help my guests out. So like if their projects come out, I'll probably share. I'll help share that out for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Of course, you're welcome. Now, what advice would you give younger people who want to become an actor and voice actor? What's your advice? What you got? Yeah.
My advice would be to watch a lot of things, read a lot of things. You know, the more if you want to be an actor or a voice actor, the more it's nice that like your research can be movies and TV shows and things like that. And also I would say to not be afraid to like live your life and experience the world around you, because you sometimes actors, we can get so sort of insulated in like auditions or this or this or this that we forget that we're playing all sorts of different types of people. We're not just playing actors. So the more you know about different aspects of life, the richer your understanding of these weird creatures that we are will get. So yeah, I would say, and then I would also just say, find people like that you connect with creatively. Find people in class or in your group of friends, and start making your own stuff. That's a thing that like was not really available to me when I was first starting. Like, we didn't have cameras that were this high quality, just like in our pockets, walking around. It was harder to kind of make your own stuff, and now that's possible. I mean, it's created a whole new set of problems, just like how do you stand out when millions and millions of people are uploading their videos and all that kind of stuff. But at least if you make your own stuff, you have footage that you can then show other people, and maybe get a manager or an agent, or but some of the greatest success stories I know are people who made their own, like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys, or my friends who did Drunk History, who they thought like, this is so fun, we'll just put it on the internet, and then all of a sudden Funny or Die picked it up, and then Comedy Central, and it became a whole big thing. And it was just because they were like, we think this is a good idea, and we think it's funny. And then so some of those things can really like rise to a certain level, or at least take you one step closer to where you want to be.
I always like to stay humble. Remember where you came from. Like I could tell you're very humble. I could tell. Jason,
oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. I also do think that's important. I mean, I also think the more disconnected you get from people, the more disconnected your performances will seem. Sometimes I see performances of people who I feel like have been isolated for so long from regular people that I'm like, it doesn't feel 100% human. It feels like a
robot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You'd be willing to come back on for a part 2 in the future, answer some fan-submitted questions? Like, I'm sure people have questions for Jason or Jeff or any of your.
Absolutely, yeah. Let me know.
Before asking my last question, do you have any questions?
So your sister Danielle,
yes,
drew that.
Yes.
Can you hold it close so that we all can see? Sure. Now that we're
sure.
And that way everybody at home can also see how good your sister is at drawing.
Of course. I always also, whenever she draws me a picture, I always like to link down her YouTube channel to help check her out. If
That's
she wants
awesome.
to help her out,
Absolutely.
I love helping others out, making people happy. That's my goal in life, making people happy. I hope I'm making you happy, Jason.
You definitely made me happy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, awesome. So good.
Got and then we put the logo there. And then if you move this, is actually a quote. Believe it or not, like I took this off. It's like a quote. Yeah. Like
do you remember what the quote was?
The quote, give me 1 second. I actually could take it off easily. So give me 1 second. You said, Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Jason.
No problem.
Okay. If you want, I could show it to you, and if you could read it. This is her handwriting, so hopefully. There you go.
Uncle Stan, whenever I'm in those woods, I feel like I'm being watched.
That's the quote.
That's awesome. I love that. That's right before Uncle Stan says, that says Bewarb.
It's such a legit. Like Danielle loves Gravity Falls as well. Like she loves her character. She loves Mabel. Like I don't know. She loves the show. You know.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, tell her that I said hello.
Got you. I wish she was here, but school.
Yeah. It's important to be in school. Way more important to be in school. And she can see this video. Hi, Danielle. There you go.
Thank you. Any other questions you got before I ask my last one? I don't have $1 million on me. I'm sorry, Jason.
I'm out. Bye. No. What? Yeah, I do have a question. What made you have that sort of motto of making people happy? What kind of drove you to come to that conclusion about how to live your life?
I like that. Before I answer, I'm gonna try to get that in focus so I hope you get that better. Because sometimes the light just likes to make it, not show.
Oh yeah.
But I would say so growing up, even in general, like I got bullied. I just want to help cheer people up, help make people happy. Like, and I started these interviews in 2020, to be precise, April 29th of 2020, because how the pandemic made people down and depressed, Jason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to lift positive vibes, like help interview people of their childhood. Like, for example, Gravity Falls. I've interviewed the author of Diary of Wimpy Kid, if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, I know those. Yeah.
I've interviewed him twice. I've interviewed another Thorup. I've interviewed people from regular show. Like the shows could go on. Like I just wanted to help cheer people up. I love lift positivity. I'm sorry, it's hard to find words, but yeah, help.
No. That's awesome. No, because I feel the same way. I think that is such an important thing. And so, and I do think it's interesting that, first of all, I'm sorry that you got bullied, but how being bullied can kind of create this little drive in people, and
like a spark.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I won't let you sort of crumble me down, even though it's painful, and in any particular day or moment, it could feel like you're getting broken down and all that stuff. But then you kind of can come out of it stronger, or with this sort of attitude of like, you know what, my mission is to make people feel the opposite of how those guys made me feel, and I think that's awesome, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Jason. I love doing it. It's fun doing this interviewing.
I can tell. Yeah, it's so cool.
It when I rewatch these shows, like now when I rewatch Gravity Falls, because it always comes on Disney XD. Like, yeah. It's like, oh my god, it's like that's Jason. Like it's gonna feel weird now. It's a good weird.
Yeah. That's good. That is good. That's awesome. Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, well, that's my friend.
Jason, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out, my friend? Anything help you out?
No. I mean, I shout out this podcast. Go listen to other interviews. Thank you for listening to this one, and go check out Ben Schwartz's, one of the funniest guys in the world, and all the other ones. There's so many. It's awesome.
Thank you. I can also link down to your social media pages so people can follow you.
Oh yeah. So my social media pages are. On Twitter, I'm at Jason Ritter. Just one word, very easy.
It's not Jason Ritter official like I thought. Right?
No, yeah, exactly. I know. I wish I kind of had like a thing where I got all like it was all like the same, but some sites I was too late for. It gets confusing. On Instagram, I am Jason_Ritter. Okay. And on TikTok, I am Jason Ritter 1980, which is my birth year.
The best years are the 80s, in my opinion. I love 80s music and movies. Sorry.
Yep, they're the best. That's why I waited until early 1980 to be born, because I just knew. So not yet. Okay, send me in.
Well, thank you and Jason for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting with you. You're a legend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so fun talking to you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Jason.
You stay awesome too, Joe.